want justice.
Fix your system, don't blame us. Fix your system, don't blame us.
This is a retiring, aging population of mainly Europeans who need a new generation of people to keep working and holding up the economy. Who need a new generation of people to keep working and holding up the economy.
That we need immigrants because it's an aging population of mostly Europeans. I mean, come on, that ain't really making your point here, okay? I hate to say it to this very fine lady, and she's got some great points, but that ain't helping. Meanwhile, people have a hard time paying their bills, finding jobs, or just living as we used to. Our standard of living has dropped completely. Your standard of living has dropped, my standard of living has dropped, and it don't matter where you're from. That's the reality.
On the Canadian government website, if you go on the federal website, there's 3 words written largely on the flyers, on the pamphlets, on the web pages. Study, work, stay.
No more racism, no more hate. No more racism, no more hate.
No more hate! It's pitting person against person, race against race. That's what they're doing. The politicians are doing. Trudeau, the great divider, doing it again with the policies of immigration that have absolutely wrecked their lives and are wrecking our lives economically. It's really easy to call it racism. When you criticize an immigration policy, it's absolutely failed the immigrants and the native people of this land. But is it racism? I'm a comic book publisher, as well as a computer programmer, and I'm publishing a comic book called Racist Angel about Alexis. She comes down from heaven and she doesn't know the rules. She doesn't know what you can criticize and what you can't. Even here in Canada, I'm starting to wonder what I can say myself, even, no matter how much melanin in my skin.
This is basically what's going to be the cover for Racist Angel 1, potentially, if it's good enough.
Racist Angel Alexis can't say what she wants to say. That's right. She wants to say, hey, there's a few too many of y'all here. Maybe y'all want to go home. But I think we might go home. What do you think, baby? Want to go home?
I don't know. No, I like it here.
You like it here?
Yeah.
So when the government says, well, we're going to kick you out, we're going to bring new students in, and every year they make us pay 4 times the tuition fees, what they're saying is, we want an endless supply of cheap labor, but we don't want you to stay here and have access to health care and education and all of the other rights that citizens have.
She's got a point. They're churning them out. They're using them up, throwing them back. Absolutely. But they've been sold a lie. That's what's happened. They've been sold a lie.
Tens of thousands of students are now facing mass deportations in the coming year or two because the government has been inconsistent, unpredictable, and unfair to international students and immigrant workers.
They've been sold a lie right from the beginning, right from the get-go. And then they get here and now they protest because they've been sold a lie. Well, you know what? It ain't good for us and it ain't good for them. I'm telling you right now, it's not good for anybody. But it sure is easy to fall back into tribalist thinking that the politicians can use. When the left-wing politicians say that the right wing has become absolutely racist, they're going to be able to say it. Why? Because they fomented it. They fomented it by bringing in massive numbers of these people. At what point does a country not become worth moving to when the standard of living just keeps dropping because you keep bringing in people who just can't get the care? We can't get the care. They can't get the care. There's no housing. Food is expensive. Everything's expensive, and there's no jobs. And the race to the bottom in wages just keeps happening. In my own field, computer programming, that's what it's like. Right? There's been a race to the bottom in wages. It's good for employers. It's good for big business. Not so good for the man who's trying to raise his family, pay the bills, maybe, hopefully on one income. Not really possible anymore, but you hope, you dream, right? That you might actually be able to take care of your own family without going into debt. Just in case I fall on the wrong side of censors, follow me on RoeUncensored.com. There's a mailing list there, and it's just a way to keep in touch. Just in case, very low volume. Thanks so much.
There are people who say, oh, international students, they sign a letter, they say they're not going to stay. But the marketing of the country from this government itself tells students, you can study here, you can work here, you can stay here.
Study, work, stay. 3 words, a sales pitch. Is anybody surprised that our government has been lying to people, including other people from other countries?
Good enough to work, good enough to stay. Good enough to work, good enough to stay. Good enough to work, good enough to stay. Good enough to work, good enough to stay.
Yeah, they can use you and they can discard you. Guess what? There's still nurses here who can't work. They've been used and discarded. No problem, right? When the thick of it was going on. Put them in the front lines, no problem. But when they decided to take a different health decision, a personal one, well, use them and discard them. Welcome to Canada. Your standard of living is dropping. My standard of living is dropping. Like, let me literally peel off my skin. You understand? Peel off the color of my skin. I'm just saying to you straight out, my standard of living is dropping. Yours is dropping. And there's a huge influx of people, who don't know the culture, right? I can't even communicate with them when I'm in, Brampton or Surrey or whatever. I don't even understand, man. I mean, I was raised in Montreal. I don't know. I can't understand. I don't fit in. So you feel like a foreigner in your own land, and there's stacks of people around you. And now they're protesting. What are they protesting about? Because they can't stay, and you think, are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? This is a political tool. They've created the problem. They've literally created the problem by flooding our country with a bunch of people who have no clue, and a stack, eh? The numbers are off the charts. Everybody can see them. You can look at the stats. So they've created the problem, and now they're going to give us a solution. They're going to tell us what? That we're racist because I don't welcome 2 million people who happen to look like me, I guess, smell like me, taste like me. Or maybe it's just because I actually want to live not like 100 people to a room. Maybe I don't want to eat curry every day. Maybe I want to literally eat burgers and pizza because that's what I'm used to. I want to eat steak. I want a white girlfriend. I really want to fix our system. Like a lot. I think the only way to do that, though, is going to be to have to get rid of Trudeau. I hate to say it again and again, but there it is. I think these guys got a raw deal. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, our deal is getting rawer and rawer right here in Canada. So what's the answer? Send them all back home? Get one big boat, maybe an ark? I don't know. But I do know, first of all, can we put a thumb in it and just stop the tide, just stem that tide, just stop this massive influx of people who obviously are unhappy here as well and making us unhappy too? Maybe that'll be good for communal harmony so everybody can just get along. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Desmond Wakes Up. This is Crash the System right here. You see that? Crash the System. This is one of my comic books. You got it. I'm a comic book publisher. Check that out. Crash the System. Desmond wakes up in a world that he doesn't recognize. The guy goes into a coma, wakes up. He's drawn kind of like Nicolas Cage. I'm hoping Nicolas Cage actually plays him in the movie. That's what I really, really want. That either that or he sues me. I'm not really sure which one it's going to be. But this comic right here, you see that? Check that out. He wakes up. And he doesn't recognize this world. He doesn't recognize it. You see, he gets his head smashed down just like the cops putting us down. Because he's thinking, hey, man, I'm free. I got him on a motorcycle. Okay? But it ain't like that anymore. It's the metaverse, baby. The betaverse fact book. This is the book, man. I'm telling you. Check that out right over here. He got a little homage. You know what I'm talking about. You know who that is, right? You know who that is. Check this book out. I'm telling you, Crash the System. This book tells a story that we can't always tell, that I can't always talk about. I can't always talk about this kind of stuff online. I just can't. It's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Why can't I talk about it online? Well, it's called censorship. That's what it's called. It's called censorship.